What if nothing you see is actually real? Not your body, not the room you're in, not even your own thoughts. What if the entire world you've come to believe in is just a reflection on the surface of something far deeper, far more true? You've been taught to trust your senses, to believe what you can touch, measure, define. But what if your senses are the illusion? What if the most convincing lie is the one you live inside every single day? Consider this: the moment you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes, there's already a world waiting for you. Your body, your memories, your name, all ready to pick up where they left off. But who is it that wakes up? And where does this whole world come from? The truth most people never stop to ask is this: what if reality isn't something out there, waiting to be discovered, but something within you, waiting to be remembered? In this video, we're not just talking about awareness. We're piercing the veil. We're going beneath the flickering images of life into the source that projects it all. And once you see what's behind the curtain, you can never unsee it. Take a breath and let's begin. Close your eyes for a moment and try this. Imagine the world disappearing, not in some catastrophic science fiction sense, but gently, almost like a dream fading upon waking. Let your surroundings dissolve: the walls, the floor, the sky, the stars. Let your own body vanish. No hands, no breath, not even your name. Now, ask yourself, what remains? What remains is the one who imagined it all, the one who could picture a world and then let it go. We rarely pause to consider just how much of our life we take for granted as real. The table is solid, the body is mine. The thoughts in my head are my identity. But underneath all of it, a quiet question waits, one that most of us never dare to ask. Where is this all happening? Not the table, not the body, not the thoughts, the experience of them. Where is that happening? Science might point to the brain, and the brain to a flurry of neurons firing like city lights. But no one has ever seen a thought under a microscope. No surgeon has cut open a skull and found a sense of self. What they find is chemistry, electricity, not you. So again we ask, where is this all happening? And the answer, though unsettling at first, is profoundly liberating. Everything you experience is happening within you, within your awareness, within the mysterious field of consciousness that is always here, always now, always witnessing. You don't perceive the world because it exists out there. The world exists because you perceive it. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. You see a reflection. You might even adjust your clothing or posture based on that reflection. But you don't mistake the mirror for reality. You know it's just an image, an echo of something deeper. What if your entire life is like that? What if your body, your thoughts, your daily ups and downs are just a reflection too of something far deeper than you've ever been told? We live in a culture obsessed with surfaces, bodies, labels, speed, performance, but these are just the shapes dancing across the surface of a still, silent lake. Beneath them lies the source of it all, you, not the person with a name and a story, but the presence, the one who watches, the one who knows. And yet, most of us have forgotten how to live from that place. Instead, we get swept up in the movie. We start believing the characters, the plot, the setting are all we are. We identify so deeply with the thoughts in our head that we forget to question who is hearing those thoughts. We cling to the body as our anchor, forgetting that even the body is an experience, rising and falling in awareness. The ancient sages of India had a word for this, Maya. Not just illusion, but the illusion of separation. The illusion that we are a mind living in a body, moving through a world, apart from everything else. But there is no real separation, only the illusion of it. And you don't need to believe this, you just need to look quietly, clearly, directly. When you sit in silence and watch a thought arise, where does it come from? When you feel an emotion surge, where does it land? When a sound reaches your ears, where is it truly heard? Not in the body, not in the brain, in you. Not the story of you, but the space before any story begins. This is not a metaphor. This is your actual experience right now. If you slow down enough to notice, your entire world, your entire life is unfolding inside your consciousness. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at a sunset or remembering your childhood, whether you're daydreaming or deep in a conversation, all of it is rising within you. All of it is made of you. You are not in the world is in you. And once you see this not as a concept but as a living truth, you can never go back. The veil begins to lift, the grip of fear loosens, and a quiet freedom begins to bloom inside your chest. Because if the world is not separate from you, then nothing can truly be taken from you, and nothing is ever truly missing. You are not the image on the screen. You are the light behind it. You are not the waves. You are the ocean watching it all rise and fall. And so the journey begins not outward toward more information or more control, but inward, deeper, toward the source of experience itself. Tauvartyu. If you've ever watched a child playing pretend, turning pillows into mountains, a stick into a sword, or empty air into an invisible friend, you've seen something remarkable. The spontaneous creation of experience. The child knows it's not real, and yet within the game, everything becomes vividly alive. A dragon must be defeated. A kingdom must be protected. The child forgets themselves for a while, becomes immersed in the story. But underneath it all, they are still there watching, aware, free to return the moment the play is over. Now consider this. What if you're playing the same game? What if consciousness, your deepest self, is playing a role, constructing experiences not to deceive you, but to explore itself? This is not about escaping reality. It's about discovering a deeper truth, that reality itself is not fixed or objective, but born moment by moment in the field of awareness. Your joys, your losses, your dreams, they are not random events. They are part of a grand unfolding, a kind of divine theater, in which consciousness tries on masks, creates scenes, and then watches what happens. It's not deception, it's discovery. Imagine standing in front of a still pond. You toss a pebble into it. Ripples spread across the surface. Light dances in new patterns. And for a moment, the pond reveals something it never had before. The pebble is the experience. The ripples are the story. But the pond remains untouched at its depth. It simply becomes conscious through the movement on its surface. This is how life works. This is how you work. Consciousness becomes aware of itself through contrast, through experience, through light and shadow, joy and grief, movement and stillness. Without the ripple, the stillness would remain hidden. Without form, there could be no formlessness. Without illusion, the truth could not be known. So what does that mean for you? It means that the struggles, the questions, the very confusion you feel when you ask, who am I? Those are not mistakes. They are the ripples that reveal the pond. They are the movement through which stillness recognizes itself. Even the sense of being lost is part of the map. Even the pain of separation is part of the way back home. You might wonder, why would consciousness choose this? Why not just remain pure, untouched, silent? But here's the thing. Silence knows itself only through sound. Light knows itself only through darkness. Oneness discovers itself only by first appearing as many. And so consciousness moves, it stirs, it dreams, it forms itself into time and space and memory and matter. Not because it is incomplete, but because it is whole enough to play. You are not the mistake. You are the dance. You are the moment when the dancer becomes the dance and forgets for a little while that they were always the one moving everything. This is why life feels so vivid, why even pain can feel sacred, why love overwhelms us. Because all of it, every flavor, every texture is consciousness learning its own depth. When you see a sunset and feel awe, that awe is not from the sky, it's from you. When you grieve someone you've lost, that grief isn't just sadness. It's the echo of love, the proof that you touched something eternal in the temporary. Even your thoughts, so often judged, resisted, feared, are not intrusions. They are waves of awareness, trying to know itself more deeply. So what happens when you stop judging the experience, when you stop believing the role and start watching the play? Something beautiful begins to unfold. You begin to rest, not in indifference, but in presence. You begin to see the world not as something to conquer or escape, but as something to meet, to witness, to learn from. The suffering doesn't vanish, but its grip loosens, because now you are not just in the story. You are holding the book, you are reading it with compassion, you are the author remembering that the characters are not separate from the source that wrote them. This is not abstract, this is your life. Right now, look at whatever you're experiencing, an emotion, a thought, a sensation. Now ask, who is aware of this? That awareness, that presence, that space in which the thought appears and disappears, that is you. And that you is not a role or a name. It is not your past or your plans. It is the same presence that looked out through your eyes as a child and still does now. It is the one constant, the silent witness. And that witness doesn't need to fix anything. It only needs to remember itself. So take a breath. Not to escape, but to return. Not to shut down, but to open. Every experience, pleasant or painful, is a doorway back to the truth that never left. You are not separate from consciousness. You are how it knows itself. And right now, it's remembering through you. Have you ever watched a movie so immersive that for a moment you forgot where you were? The lights dim. The sound wraps around you. The characters pull you into their lives, their struggles. You flinch when danger strikes. You laugh. You cry. You feel as if it's happening to you. But at no point does the screen itself change. The movie flickers and dances, but the screen stays still, untouched by the story it carries. Now ask yourself, what if your life is just like that? Not in a way that diminishes it, not in a way that says it's fake or unimportant, but in a way that invites you to see more clearly, to understand that what you call the real world may be no more real than a dream, that it may be a projection, vivid, emotional, rich with detail, but still a projection, a play of light on a deeper screen. The ancient seers of India call this Maya, a word often translated as illusion, but its meaning goes deeper. Maya is not just something that tricks you, it's the appearance of form in a field of formlessness. It's the dance of color and sound and sensation across the surface of awareness. It is the way the one appears as many, the infinite appears as time and space. And this isn't just spiritual poetry. Modern physics too has arrived at a place both baffling and beautiful. Quantum theory tells us that what seems solid is mostly empty, that particles don't exist in one place until observed, that the foundation of matter is not substance but probability, possibility. Your body? Mostly space. The floor beneath you? A lattice of vibrations. The entire universe? Not a fixed structure but a field of uncertainty shaped by observation. In other words, the world is not out there. It is in relationship with you. It appears through you. It depends on the act of observation, of awareness, to become what it is, just like a dream. Think about dreams. When you sleep, your mind constructs entire worlds. You walk through cities, you speak with people, you feel emotions. And yet, when you wake up, you realize it was all happening within you. Not just the thoughts, but the sights, the sounds, the body you thought was you inside the dream. And what if waking life is not so different? What if what we call waking reality is simply a more stable, more persistent dream? You're not imagining the world, but you are experiencing it entirely within the field of your own consciousness. And when you see that, when you really see it not as a concept but as a felt truth, something changes. You stop being so terrified of the movie. You stop clinging so tightly to every rise and fall in the plot. Because now you've remembered the screen, you've remembered the place in you that does not flicker. So the place that is not touched by time or opinion or circumstance, that place is not far away. It is not something you must earn. It is here, right now, beneath every sensation, beneath every thought. It is the stillness watching the movement. It is the silence beneath the sound. The mistake we make is thinking we need to find something outside of this experience to wake up. That we need a teacher or a miracle or a new identity to finally feel free. But the truth is far more simple. You only need to see that you were never the movie, you were never the actor, you were the light behind the projector. The mind will fight this. It will say, this can't be true. I feel my body. I remember my past. I see the world around me. How could it not be real? But ask yourself, where are those experiences happening? The body you feel, is it not a sensation in your awareness? The past you remember, is it not a thought appearing now? The world you see, is it not an image moving across the canvas of your mind? Everything you call real is filtered, interpreted, and experienced inside of you. And the you that knows this, that watches it all, that is the one constant, the one truth that never flickers. This is not about denying the world. It's about softening your grip on it. It's about recognizing that everything you experience is part of a sacred, living projection, a dance of light and shadow, meant to awaken something deeper. The more you identify with the projection, the more you suffer. The more you remember the screen, the more you awaken. You begin to feel the dreamlike nature of the world, not with fear, but with wonder. The trees shimmer more vividly. The faces around you seem bathed in presence. Even your pain begins to feel like part of a larger unfolding, because now you know it's not happening to you. It's happening within you. And that realization, that shift, is the beginning of true freedom. It doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes real in a new way. Because now, instead of being trapped in the illusion, You are dancing with it. You are conscious in the dream. You are lucid. And from this lucid space, anything is possible, even waking up. Who are you really? The answer seems obvious at first. You point to your chest, say your name, remember your story. I'm me, you say. A person, a mind, a body, a voice in the world. But pause for a moment and look closer. Are you the thoughts moving through your head? The ones that say, I'm tired, or I want more, or why is this happening to me? They seem so constant, so convincing. But they also change. They contradict each other. One day you think you're strong, the next you feel broken. One moment you're full of joy, the next doubt creeps in. If your thoughts can change so easily, how could they possibly define who you are? Then maybe it's the emotions, the things you feel most deeply. The grief that sits like a stone in your stomach. The sudden warmth of love when you hear someone laugh. The panic, the shame, the hope. These too seem personal. But even emotions come and go. One moment you're overwhelmed. Then it passes. It always passes. Like waves rising and falling. If you were sadness itself, how could happiness arrive? If you were anger, how could peace return? Maybe it's the body then. That feels more solid. The heartbeat you can touch, the hands you can see, the breath you can feel moving in and out. But what happens when the body changes? When it ages, when it breaks? When you look at a photo of yourself from childhood, do you say, that wasn't me? Of course not. You still recognize the gaze in your own eyes, the presence behind the face. So again we ask, who are you if not these ever-changing parts? The answer is not something to think your way into. It's something you begin to notice. Right now, without changing anything, become aware of this moment. Not the content of it, the sounds, the thoughts, the sensations, but the fact that you're aware of it. There's something behind the thought, behind the feeling, behind even the breath. A stillness, a presence. You, not the person, but the awareness of the person, not the cloud, but the sky. That sky open, silent, boundless is who you are. Everything else is just weather. But don't be fooled, this you isn't some abstract idea. It's not spiritual fluff. It's the most direct truth you've ever known. It's the thing you've been your entire life, but rarely stopped to notice. When you were 5 years old, you had different beliefs, a different body, a different voice, but you were still you. Something watched it all unfold. Something has been present the entire time. That something doesn't age, doesn't come and go, doesn't belong to any single thought or role. That something is awareness, and that awareness doesn't live in the body lives in it. Science may say you are your brain, a network of neurons firing in patterns. But no scientist has ever found a thought in a test tube. No brain scan has ever detected joy itself. They measure correlations, but they do not explain consciousness, the miracle of experience. And here's the quiet truth, they never will. Because consciousness is not a product of the brain. It is the space in which the brain appears, just as the stars appear in the sky but do not create it. Just as dreams appear in sleep but do not define the dreamer. You are not inside your head. You are the field in which the head appears. You are not limited by skin or story. You are the open presence in which skin and story arise. This is what the sages meant when they said, you are not the body, you are not the mind. They weren't asking you to deny your humanity. They were inviting you to remember your divinity. Because once you remember, truly remember, you begin to live differently. You stop trying to hold on so tightly. You stop defending every thought, every emotion, every identity, you stop fearing change. Because you know that what you are does not change. You begin to rest in the witness. Not as a way to escape life, but as a way to finally meet it. From the stillness of awareness, you can feel pain without becoming it. You can hear thought without obeying it. You can walk through life with a quiet freedom that doesn't need to prove itself. And here's the miracle. The more you rest as awareness, the more love flows through you. Not personal love, not conditional love, but love as a state of being. Love as the natural fragrance of presence. Because when you are no longer trapped in the false idea of me, you open into the truth of we. You see yourself in everyone. You feel peace without cause. You live not as a body in a world, but as the world appearing in a body. So again, ask yourself gently, who am I? Let the question fall like a stone into the still lake of your being. Let the ripples pass. Let the mind grow quiet. And then, listen, not for an answer, but for the silence that holds every answer. That silence is you. You have always been this. You will always be this. Now, simply remember, if something in you feels quieter now, if even for a moment the world seemed less heavy, less rushed, like a curtain lifted just enough for light to slip through, then let that moment stay with you. Let it echo beyond the screen, into the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you greet yourself each morning, not as a name or a role or a thought, but as the awareness that has quietly held it all. You don't need to believe anything. You only need to keep noticing. And if this video helped you notice, even a little more helped you soften into the mystery of what you really are, then I invite you to stay with this journey. Because there is so much more space.